No matter how long you've been playing Rainbow Six Siege, I think any and everybody could use some of these tips in today's video if you guys haven't been able to hit champ ever. So whether you're brand new to the game or you've been playing for a while and you feel like you're stuck in a rank, or you're coming back to the game, I want to give you some refreshers and just some explanations on how to play Rainbow Six Siege. So this is the ultimate guide for Rainbow Six Siege. So if you guys enjoyed this video, make sure that you guys like, sub, and comment, and share to a friend that needs to see this video. Let's waste no more time. Let's get into it. Before the video starts, if you guys do want to go and support me, if you enjoyed this video, be sure to go over to my Twitch channel and you can get my in-game charm right now just by subscribing. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to quickly show you how to find your sensitivity the best and fastest way possible. Also, I'm going to explain some how to tweak your sensitivity, because even if you're bronze, silver, gold, I know a lot of people that are on, on bad sensitivities and they don't even realize it. So I'm on PC right now, but I picked up a controller because I don't want to, I want to go through the process completely with you guys. So as you can tell, I'm on 100. I'm not going to be able to control anything. So I'm just going to go all the way down. You can do this on PC or console. It doesn't matter if you're a controller or MNK. On console, on PC, hopefully you shouldn't be using MNK on console unless you're a loser. But let's just say my sensitivity is 2460 on console, and that's my controller one-time scope. Seems like everything is... I'm just going to put everything down all the way right now. I'm moving left to right. Everything feels a little bit fast, but also a little bit slow. Now, when I try to control recoil, notice how I'm pulling down too much and the recoil is literally going down. That means that my sense is way too fast for me. So there's two ways that we can go about this. We go back into our sensitivity, and once again, there's two things. There's either vertical sensitivity or ADS. And I can tell right now that my vertical sensitivity is quite slow since it's 24, but it's the 1.5 times scope, which is on 96, which if you're watching this and it's next season, you're not going to see a 1.5 times scope because they're taking it out of the game, luckily. But I'm going to turn it down drastically. I'm also going to be turning down my 1 times scope because you're also going to have to figure that one out yourself. But as you can tell now, it's not bad. It's a lot better than before, but it's still kind of all over the place. So what we're going to do is we're going to go back. So a good rule of thumb, if your sensitivity when you're pulling down and it's popping up, that means your sensitivity is way too slow. But if you're pulling down and it's going way too far down, that means your sensitivity is way too fast. So basically what you need to be doing is trying to fix it by just lowering it and seeing what's comfortable for you. Because controlling recoil is very important, but at the same time, you also need to be able to readjust your crosshair and flick in between enemies if needed to be. But 99% of the time, a lot of your gunfights are just going to be straight on. It's not bad. It's actually like a lot better than the other ones. That was the very first one. That was the second. And yeah. So I'm actually going to try lowering my horizontal down now because I know my vertical sensitivity is fine, but my horizontal does feel a little bit fast for my liking. So I'm going to turn it down to 50, and this will just make it easier to control horizontal recoil, but it's not going to completely eliminate the recoil. And that's not that bad. Also, I'm going to just sit here and I'm going to see what happens when I load this up, see if I'm able to actually track. Keep in mind, I don't play controller that much, so it's not the best. I'm noticing that I'm having a hard time controlling, like, tracking on this sense. So it could be just the controller because my hands are really tiny, and I'm playing on a PlayStation controller because it's scuff. That doesn't work on Xbox, and I'm usually on an Xbox controller. But let's just see if I can control this a little bit better. So I'm noticing that when I'm trying to track somebody, if I sit here and I actually try to track the person, that I'm going just over their head, like on the left. See how I'm trying to track the left and it's going in front of them? That means that my ADS sense is too fast. So what we're going to go back into, we're going to go back into the ADS sense, and we're going to turn down the ADS sense a little bit more. Because if you're not able to perfectly track them, then your sensitivity is going to be very inconsistent. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put it on 39 and let's see how well I can track them. Basically, I'm almost there, as you can tell. Like, I'm almost perfectly tracking him, but it's still a wee bit fast. Now, if you're trying to track and it's right behind like this, that means that your ADS sense is too slow. So we're going to just go ahead and we're going to turn down the ADS sense once again. And sensitivity is all personal preference. So if you go ahead and try, like, you know, let's say Jinxie's sense or whoever, it's all personal preference. So just find your own sensitivity. You can try to use their sensitivity for a good rule of thumb, but it's not the wave. But anyways, let's go back to tracking. So it looks like I almost got this down. It almost seems perfect at the moment, which is honestly what I can work with. Let's see how good I can control recoil. Recoil seems like it's fine, actually. I keep knifing because I got paddles on this scuff, so I'm having to hold my controller weird. So I think this is good. This is good. So just to recap this, guys, if you're struggling with your sensitivity and you're more or less struggling with recoil control, a good rule of thumb, if you're spraying up and while you're holding down, that means that your sensitivity is way too slow. If you're pulling down and it's like that and you're over adjusting, that means your sensitivity is way too fast and you're trying to overcompensate. So you need to have it to the point where you can properly control recoil and also track the enemy that's walking in one of these dummy sessions. But you're gonna probably have to do this with almost every single one of your scopes just to tweak it, unless you want to go for a one-to-one sense, which if you want to know what a one-to-one sense is, ADS, look up online. I should have something on screen that just tells you what one-to-one sense is. And basically what one-to-one sense is it's the same ADS converted across all your ADS. So say that it's 1.0 58 and then it'll be like 93, etc, etc. Hopefully I have it on screen. Communication is half of Siege. If you don't have good communication, you're going to be a very average Siege player, and there's going to be coppers that's going to be better than you, let's be honest. So relaying information, especially callouts, is super important. Let me give you an example of a sound call versus a regular call.
Not the wall? Okay.
It's still bandaged.
Pushing up green, dead, Finka. Another one, sound call.
Getting main wall now.
So in that sequence, I gave a lot of information. I gave a call out that Finka was pushing green hall. I get that frag. I instantly tell my teammates that I got that frag and you don't have to worry about Finka. But at the same time, I also give an audio call and I make sure to say sound call. Do this with every single piece of information you have. If you think someone is somewhere based off audio, say sound call. If you think someone's there because you have a drone on them, say that. Don't say sound call, just say, yo, Finka is green hall. Because once again, a few seconds ago, I seen that Finka before the clip. So if your callouts, just be sure to be clear, precise, and accurate. Don't just speculate, and if you are speculating based off sound, be sure to tell your teammates that. Always be clear when giving a sound call. Now, when you do get a sound call, be sure to try to act off of it with precaution, because once again, audio in Siege can be very rugged. So sometimes if you peek something, maybe the person just was hearing it wrong, but that doesn't mean you shouldn't take it serious. For example, in this next clip, I get an audio call that someone's on a window and I decide to pre-fire it, and look what happens. Yep, good call. Something you should never do while giving callouts is if your teammate is giving a callout, do not get on that same cam or drone and double up the callouts. Because can you imagine if you're sitting there as a defender or attacker that's getting information and all you hear is your teammates yapping in your ear the same callouts, louder and repetitive. It is just so freaking unneeded, bro. So when something like this is happening, be sure to tell your teammates, hey, I got comms, or let me get comms. And that will tell them to basically shut up and let you overtake the comms, because some people just be yapping when they're giving callouts and they be just so loud and excited. For example, in this next clip, I'm going to show you, watch all the information I'm getting in this clip. And this is literally a pro player that I'm playing with that tells my teammate to basically shut up and let him give comms.
We had a vow cam for that. He's still piano double door. In piano.
You push up so much.
Frosted, bathroom one. Nobody else highway.
In self-res though.
Yeah, he's self-res. One's ego door.
Solar audio slow. Solar up.
And ego door.
Ivy standing on the head holds Ivy. Nice.
Ego door.
We have full info. You don't need to gel.
Cross.
Middle office now. On. Going piano. Door on.
He's on the couch.
Now. On A bomb.
Give me comms. He's on A bomb. Going to piano right now. Close black hall. No eyes anymore.
Good comms. Another thing I noticed with a lot of players that get into Siege is they don't know when to play aggressive and when they need to play passive. So let me break it down. On attack, when you have a man disadvantage, you should play passive. Of course, the time is running against you, but if you have enough time to bait, this is what I like to call good baiting. In this type of situation, you would be good baiting because a lot of the defenders will get eerie and want to run around and swing you. And that's very, very common unless you're playing good players. So let's say you have a minute and a half or even a minute. Just maybe hold an angle for a few seconds and wait for a defender to get in your crosshair so you can kind of even up that man count. This is something that you should always be doing as an attacker because this is what we call good baiting. Now, if you have like 30 seconds to go, you on attack should not try to bait. You need to try to work the map and get inside the site as quick as possible. And even if the round is technically unwinnable, it is still winnable. As long as you try to get into the site and try to either frag them out off information or blindly peek and then try to get the bomb down. Another example of when you should be playing passive on attack is when you have man advantage, because what's going to happen for a lot of players on defense, once they know they're at a man disadvantage, like a 4v5, 3v5, etc., they know that the attackers are going to have more map control, so they're going to be trying to get those initial refrags. So be sure to get passive on attack, use your drones, and get as much information as possible. Because what's going to happen, they're going to start swinging, and if you get too confident as an attacker trying to swing inside the map, you're literally just going to be giving defenders ones. So be sure to get information and then act off that information. Now, when do you play aggressive? Well, on attack, you should be playing aggressive off information. If you have drones or lion scans, grim scans, etc., you should definitely be playing aggressive. If you have information, you shouldn't just let it go out the window, because if you do, you're literally wasting potential easy frags and just potential of you losing the round. Another example of when you should play aggressive is when you have refrag value. When you know your teammate or random teammate is going for a swing and they're going to be in a gunfight / engagement, you need to be there to get a 1-for-1 trade. So if your teammate swings and they get fragged off, you're there for an instant swing and trade off. This is what you need to be doing when playing aggressive, because if your man's just swings and dies right away, then you're going to be left there at a man disadvantage or even a man equal count, and even that's not good. So always be there for a swing. So anybody can defend in Siege. The problem is a lot of players, even into low diamond, they have no idea how to properly get a good attacking round off. They don't know when to rotate. They don't know when to rotate their drones. So I'm going to go step by step on how to attack properly. So the very first thing about attack, you need to start with good momentum. And by doing this, you need to start by having good habits. So the very first thing you should be doing in the prep phase is have a goal in mind to how you're going to attack. Yeah. I'm going to clear out the guy half wall once you guys actually open up the breach, so we can time it. So as you can tell, what I say is I'm going to go downstairs as Buck. I'm going to utilize his gadget, and I'm going to utilize operator synergy, which basically means operators that work so well together based off their utility. So basically they're going to open up the main wall, and I as Buck is going to go under and play vertical from half wall, sandwich, etc., and wreak havoc on the people that might be playing in those areas. This will be fantastic for anybody that's outside the breach, because then they get a crossfire on anybody possibly rotating, as long as I am under there making vert.
Nice.
Next up is for you to utilize your drone. Once you have a plan, you need to utilize one of two drones that you have, either to pre-place your drone in an area so you can enter the building a lot quicker, or have your teammate ready to act off your drone. So whether you're droning them in or you're droning yourself in, or getting them to get on your pre-placed cam. This will save you a lot of time on attack, and time management is very important on attacking rounds. You need to try to go as quick as possible based off information, because the time is against you as an attacker. Your main objective as an attacker is to open up lines of sight, make any map pressure that needed, and need it to get as much map control as possible before you do anything else. This is the main objective. It is not getting all 5 defender kills. You are trying to execute a plan and get that diffuser down. A lot of times this might not happen, but that should be your objective to have a successful attacking rounds. Now, you as an attacker, if you're going under to play Buck or whoever, and you have some time on your hands before you're going to make vert, and you need to wait for your other attackers to open up walls and whatnot, drone them in and help them get more map control as soon as possible, because the quicker they get inside the map and get the map control that you need, the quicker you can go down below and play vert, which means the quicker you'll have to actually try to get the plant down and use your utility. Once again, when it comes down to map control, this is very important that you get this early on, because if you don't get this early on, you're going to have a rushed attack, and it's going to be a lot harder for you guys to burn utility and destroy utility and actually get that map control that's close to sight or in sight.
5 seconds to go.
Should drone spot.
Are you just
I could
clearing
put
half
it-
wall? I'll watch that for a little
No.
bit.
I was going to clear half wall, and then as like the round progresses, I was going to open up like sandwich and like small
You're
and
gonna
all
hold
that
up for you
shit.
the whole time, or
Yeah,
do you
yeah,
wanna
yeah,
rotate
yeah. But like, wait. Can you give them a CC cam, like a jab? I'm gonna drone in CC right now. Yeah, I'm gonna drone you guys up. Just give me a second. Okay. Nothing on main wall at the moment. Did they just reinforce off box? Yo, no rotation box. Nobody's J-desk either. Like banana.
Is it clear in here?
Yeah. Break room's clear as well. Nobody's holding 90.
Yeah, they have a frost
direct.
by the way. They have a frost by the way.
Okay. Yeah.
Watch the traps.
Tony, are you muted by the way? Because I see Z pings.
Am I?
Yeah, you were muted.
No, you're fine.
Okay.
Alright, security's clear.
Yeah. Everything was
Alright,
clear.
everything's no matter off. It's no matter off
Yeah.
in security.
Okay,
I'm gonna rotate down to you.
Yeah, rotate down to
Can
me.
I get wall right now, or can
Yo,
I
one
wait?
server door. Echo. Get the wall as soon as possible.
I got wall.
Echo
I'm
is in
playing
server.
hooked of it.
Okay, heard. I'm going below right now.
They have no small feet holes.
Hold up, I'm gonna drone out server. They shot my
He's on
server
burn for this.
cam.
He's swing breach, swing breach. I got him, I got him.
Burning.
Burn.
I might be able to go for a plant here.
Hold up. They have an echo.
We have time.
Yeah, we have a
They're
lot of
playing
time to
bomb.
work the map.
I put that.
Nice.
I put that.
Shit. Bon's dead, swing.
I'm droning sight right now.
Yo, I'm gonna make vert.
Playing
For
oh,
workshop.
sandwich,
Or,
and then-
sandwich,
and then,
sandwich.
Sandwich,
archives.
heard it.
Fountain and sandwich.
Nobody sandwich.
rotating up metal.
Probably
I'm
Africa.
rotating up
Heard.
No, he's still Africa, and then archives door.
Is he like
Alright,
the other side of
I think we
Africa?
start baiting plant. We start baiting
Yo,
plant.
swing sandwich.
He swung. Two swung.
Both there.
Nice.
Hold up.
Hold
I'm rotating. To emphasize proper attacking once again, I want to show you one last example of even pre-placed drones and how effective they can be to get your teammates in the map, so you can get so much map control early on and get early picks. Get a cam
He
for
went
small.
Okay.
Yeah, he went small.
Yeah, I'm gonna send my drone over.
I have a cam in dining for that cutoff if he rotates back.
Yeah, I'm putting drone in classroom.
Yeah, yo, Legion's putting goo mines for Showers Hall as well. He went bottom white though. Yo, Solus went Showers Hall as well.
Oh, there's a Solus. He got my cam.
Yeah, Solus went bottom white.
Bottom white?
shit.
Again?
He was
Yeah.
fucking-
Yo,
What did-
small tower clear. Go. There's a goo mine shower
He
hall
gave
though.
me so much time to kill him.
I don't know where that goo mine is.
That's
I'm
Mozzie.
not gonna lie. The Solus could technically be anywhere. I'm droning out security, okay? Could be kitchen. Nobody's security.
Like could be
I'm only
in
kitchen right
my...
I'll start droning lobby then.
Could be kitch. That's all. That's all I know. Yo, bottom
only kitchen
freezer.
right now.
That's where Solus is. Shock him. Now, since I gave you some tips on how to attack, let me give you some tips on how to defend. On defense, your main objective is to contest the attackers from getting map control. So by doing this, you should never be bunkering down in the site, which is what a lot of players do, especially at the lower ranks, because they don't have map knowledge or they don't feel comfortable enough to roam. Now, you can basically roam with any operator as long as you have a specific strat. A lot of people will say that no, just because you're a 3 armor, you shouldn't be roaming. No. If you have a specific strat with your team, a 3 armor can be beneficial roaming. For example, let's take one of the worst operators in the game, Warden, who stops flashes. If you took Warden and you roamed like specifically vertically above site to hold it down so they don't get map control and they're not able to play vertical and you're contesting them, and you have like a shield with Warden, then you're unstoppable because you can't get blinded, you can't get cleared. It's going to be very difficult to actually contest that Warden. So it's just making bad operators good just by using their utility. And this is what you mainly need to be doing on every defensive round, no matter what site you're in. Your main objective is to waste as much time as possible, deny drones, deny entry, and when you need to fall back, you fall back. So for example, let me show you a basic setup that I did on meeting with Castle while my teammates roamed above and dining and held attic in Oregon.
All right, I'll reinforce off attic and stage.
Do you want me to get kitchen hatches? Oh, kitchen hatch?
Yeah. Wait, no. We need to send above. We need to play up there.
Should have brought the cade for this side, I think.
Wait, you open bandit. Meeting in top?
Yeah.
Are we opening hatch or no?
Yeah, I already did.
Yeah, do
I'm trying to
it.
fit through this. I'm fucking too fat. Okay.
What about this hatch right here? Are we opening up meeting hatch now, right?
You make shotgun
I
rolls,
can
bro.
pop it if
Garfield.
you give me a little
Yeah,
bit.
yeah.
No,
Yeah, I can
Watch the
Yeah, big window.
window
Yeah.
open.
Fuck, dude.
Ooh, I love this Azami strat.
Ryan, I have a rotate into kids.
Alright, bad. I'm gonna run up to you, hold on.
Throwing hella goo mines for above.
I'm making
They
vert
fell
for
from
you.
below.
So if they go dining, you can actually like.
You castle this too.
Yeah, double window.
Fuck out here.
I'll rip one down from green window.
I have the big window open.
I'm just cycling cams, by the way. They're droning white. Drone coming through white.
Yo, I'm popping your freezer hatch, okay?
Okay.
Is this a small tower push?
Gen window repel.
Oh no, they're
So-
outside of big tower. They're droning
Going
big
at top
tower right
main.
now.
Make sure you're watching the hop in.
I am.
There's at least 2 big tower. There's a Flores. outside
Yo,
of
green
big
hall,
tower.
green hall. Green hall window.
What am I hearing? I think there's
There's
a drone on the
outside
hatch. Tony.
Yo, I'm
Drone
making
at-
vert
I think
for
there might be a drone
the.
right here.
Yeah, I got
There
double castle
Cool.
down.
They dropped the
Oh,
hatch.
on my double door. I'm on
Yeah.
double door
Ah,
for big tower. There's a cam on me.
There's vert for the door, by the way, if they walk in, Legion. They just shot a floors
Is
room at me.
there a hole here?
I had
or
to back
no?
off. Where? Yeah,
Is top attic open? Or no?
Yeah.
yeah.
Like, oh no, like
It
not
is,
the
it's-
wall, no. No, the wall, no.
Not the wall? Okay.
It's
okay,
still
so I can
bandaged.
see it.
Pushing up green, dead. Finka. Another one, sound call.
Getting main wall now.
I'm holding it from above.
I can always deny default plan, alright?
Heard.
Door. Attack door.
I'm gonna turn it
Close
down.
door on me. I'm backing up. It's Buck. Legion, you can watch that as well, by the way.
I can always
holding
deny
breach
default
right
on
now.
stage, okay?
Hopped in again.
Good
Got one.
shot.
There's another one in the hallway.
Attic window.
That's Buck dead and green.
Nice. Might double dip
Ace
with
lid,
you
double.
here, Royal. I
Watch
can
your
shoot
green
the
window.
door if you want to go. Actually, I'm gonna stay, Royal.
On the double door still. You can kill him, Roll.
Green
Just hit
window
my
audio.
fucking
Nice.
ass
Nice.
off.
Double door dead, double door
Green
dead.
window.
Rotating back.
Yup.
Rotating
Good
back.
call. Good call. Good
Nice.
call.
Nice.
So with this site setup, we made it super difficult for them to enter all the prominent parts to take upstairs. For example, I made vertical on security, so I was able to hold vertical with my Azami, watching the jump in. I castled off Green Hall and any surrounding areas so they wouldn't have easy entry to get any of the stuff off the wall from bandits. And I also castled, of course, Green Hall window just so I can retake that map control if needed. Castling off dining was a kind of not important that, you know, they get dining control because they only have one single wall to open. And since we have vertical control, that will contest it, and it's another angle they have to worry about. We also extended deep into security and castled off security side and made a rotate for the hatch. So I popped the hatch if anybody needed to rotate and try to retake specific sites of the map. So doing all this, we have so much map control and we do not need to worry about anything. We're basically causing something called ghost pressure on big window upstairs, which means literally somebody could be there or they couldn't. There's just that pressure having those vertical holes. So jumping in, it's kind of a hit or miss. So that is kind of ghost pressure. As an attacker, if you want to utilize ghost pressure, by the way, you want to open up windows and then rotate or barricades just so they might be scared that someone might be out there. That's basically what ghost pressure is, by the way. But yes, basically extending around sight, making vertical lines of sight is how you're supposed to play defense, because we contested them so much that they tried to force themselves into a doorway like a bunch of silvers, and it did not work at all. So always think to yourself, how can I extend, how can I hold the map, and how can I contest the attackers from getting specific parts of the map? And this is what your main objective should be, always on defense. Now, perspective is a huge thing in Rainbow Six Siege. So I had this viral video that basically explained perspective. So I'm just going to insert it right here because I feel like I explained it very well. Okay, so before we start this video, guys, first ask yourself, since we're going over perspective, where do you think the camera is on the operator's body? Down in the comments, let me know right now. If you said anywhere else besides in between the eyes on the head, you're wrong, because that's where the camera is placed. It used to be on top of the head or wherever, but it's right in the middle. A lot of misconceptions of perspective is, firstly, that you're just getting ghosted and the game is awful. That's just untrue. You don't know how to use it, so let me explain. Let's talk about leaning. This is the most simple way I can explain it. If you lean the wrong way, you're going to expose more of your body. So let's say that we're going into kitchen and we're peeking for service. We see Amaru's head because we Shaiko peeked and we lean the left way. So, by the way, sorry if you hear my keys. I'm doing this on 2 PCs, so it's very weird. But yeah, I can see her head and she can see me. Cool. But now let's say I'm swinging straight. Do you notice how on Amaru's perspective, when I swing straight, my entire body is exposed? But for her, since she's leaning, and it doesn't even matter that she's leaning, just how aggressive an angle she's holding, she can see your entire body, and you think you're in cover. But that's just not true, because you're leaning the wrong way, and you're assuming that just because what you can see on your screen, like these little pixels in between the window, is all that she's going to see. That's just not true. Now, let's talk about when you lean the wrong way to the right while swinging left. Now, do you notice how quick she sees me? And I think I'm in cover. Like, Amaru can see Rook's leg, and then I keep swinging. I still think I'm in cover. Oh, I'm about to peek. My entire body is already peeking, and I'm dead. So basically, what I'm trying to tell you is when you're swinging stuff, try to think of how leaning goes into perspective, because the camera is in the middle of your face. So let's say I'm swinging. I'm going to want to swing the left side. Let's say I'm on the right side. I'm going to want to be, Shaiko peeking on the right side and peeking on the right side. I'm not going to want to be peeking like this. This is a huge no-no for a lot of you guys. I don't know why you think this is a good peek. This is honestly awful. You're just going to die because of perspective. That's why people lean where they're swinging, if that makes sense. So say I'm, on this rotate. I'm going to swing with my right and I'm going to kill her. And also, as you can see, perspective would get me this kill right here because Amaru is peeking towards, the kitchen door. And I am in cover where I'm able to basically, block her vision. And if you're wondering why, basically I'm getting that perspective. If you can see, once again, right here, I'm pretty close now, so she'll see me. But that's just how depth works. The camera is literally right here where I'm aiming, like right here. So the camera would see me. I move back to the rotate. She's barely, she's not going to see me if I'm just tucked. So as you can see, that's just how perspective works. Now, I know you guys seen this thumbnail for today's video, And it might have been the reason why you guys clicked on it. So I'm going to explain just that example as clear as possible and why you shouldn't be peeking the way that, you know, the person was peeking in the thumbnail. So as you can see, Rook is sitting on the pink double. And what Rook is doing is looking for sound or looking to swing somebody once teammate or somebody gives them information for 90. Now, that's cool and all. But what happens here is you're exposing way too much of your body. Now, say I'm in VIP, I can see your entire hand and arm. And as you can see, the deeper I get, pause, the more I can see his body. And the closer I get from a far angle, the easier Rook's going to be to see. And I can see his head, and he can't even see me. Look how close I'm going to get, guys. Do you see this? I can see this man's entire body. This man thinks he's playing peekaboo or something, and that this is good angle. And look what happens, by the way, on a Maro's screen. When I even try to Shaiko peek something like this, and I'm holding a tight peek, I'm exposing more of my body on a Maru and my head than a Maru is. Now, to fix this, you're going to want to hold a more 50-50 gunfight, 50-50 angle for a gunfight. Let me explain. Notice how I can't see Rook anymore? That's because, as you can tell, he is deeper on an angle instead of closer on the angle. So he was right here, and basically he just backed up into a deeper angle. Now, when I push 90, it's a more of a fair gunfight. Do you notice how on Amara's screen, I see just the tip of his head? And on Rook's screen, I see just the tip of her head? That's a 50-50 fair gunfight. Whoever has the better crosshair placement, better reaction time, whatever, they're going to win that gunfight. Now, here's a huge no-no in terms of perspective. Proning. Let me explain. So when you're prone, you think that you're in a lot more cover than you really are. Let's say you're right here proning on vase, right, guys? And the Maro's pushing up 90. As you can tell, I can already see so much of Rook's body than he can see of me. He doesn't see me until I swing super wide. At this point, swinging wide is just going to give me the easy frag. So basically, you're not going to want to swing nice and tight, because what's going to happen is it's a more fair gunfight for Rook. Because as you can tell, he has the perspective, even as proning, he can see my head and I can only see his shoulder or arm. So instead, most of the time, what you're going to want to be doing, guys, is you're going to want to be swinging nice and far. Because he doesn't see me until like I get up to this area and he only sees my toe, which looks like a goddamn rock. And this is an easy frag for me. Also, another reason why proning is just bad is because the amount of area your body is going to be open, if that makes sense. So this man Rook is flat out like a starfish, right? I'm on Hookah Belk. He's trying to watch VIP. I shoot his feet and get an easy kill. But if he crouches, I don't see him. Now, does this change the perspective when I go 90? Well, not as much as I want it to, but it does do a little bit more. But this is still an easy frag. Instead, if you're trying to hold for 90, don't sit there behind the vase just watching it, unless you're being pinched and you're kind of just, you know, focused on that. Position yourself for a longer gunfight. But once again, what happens here is if I go into a tight area now, it's a 50-50 gunfight. If I go into a wide gunfight now, it isn't a 50-50 gunfight. So I would literally have to hold a more aggressive angle for it to be a little bit more fair. As you can tell, it's fair. We go 90. Is it fair? Well, actually, yes, it is. But there is some disadvantages to holding tight in like aggressive angles like this. One, you're just gonna get killed from pre-fires. From any good player, they're gonna be like boom, 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 and they're just gonna strike a peek and shoot you. So you really have to be confident in your gun skill to be peeking like this. But I tell you, man, if you are struggling to win gunfights, aggressively peeking and holding farther angles is going to be a lot better than what you guys are doing right now. You guys are holding too close of angles. and it is honestly hurting you so freaking much. Bonus tip for a lot of you guys, let's talk about vertical real quick, and let's also talk about hatches. So as you can see, this hatch is popped over here in aqua. Let me show you the differences between standing, crouched, and prone. So as you can see, Rook is standing, and I'm able to see his kneecaps and almost actually his entire body before he even sees my feet. Rook crouches. This is a little bit better, but it's not as fair because once again, I see almost his head. And I will probably actually light him up more than he lights me up if I already know he's there. But let's talk about prone for this angle. So you're prone on this double door. You know, I'm a Maru. I'm walking in. You know, this is a little bit more fair of a gunfight for, you know, Rook. But at the same time, the only reason why you would ever be proning on something is because you're trying to get a rat angle. Proning 90% of the time is so awful, guys. It just leaves you like a statue almost, and it makes so much noise. So if you're going to peek something, peek it crouch or standing. Don't prone, okay? Okay, one last thing when it comes to perspective is vertical. A lot of you guys hate playing vertical because you just suck at the perspective and you think that the game hates you. First of all, understand that as a player that's playing vert, if you're repelled upside down, you're at a disadvantage holding tight angles. So if you play vert close and then you go repel above the window, as you can see, he is not going to see me until I am super wide back. I see this guy's entire body and he does not see me. For him to get an angle on me, he just can't because the window is placed low. So that is just basic perspective winning me this gunfight. Okay, so let's wrap it up in terms of the perspective. In terms of perspective, you want to be a lot of the times holding longer angles because you get more bang for your buck. As you can see, Amara is holding a tight peak on blue. Now that she's wider, she can see more of Rook's body. A lot of you guys just creep up like this and are little weirdos, and it really hurts you. But if she was to hold a longer angle, she would see more of Rook a lot quicker, and she would win the gunfight because she has a tighter angle. Something I also know is a lot of people have a hard time understanding how to make defensive strategies. So here's a basic layer strategy that I came up with, and I just explained the thought process. Take this same thought process in every single map that you play, and then you will find endless ways to defend. But let me explain how to create your own strat. So when you're playing other maps like Coastline or whatever maps you're playing, you can create your own strats that will work in your rank. Every rank is going to be different, so please do not use champion or pro level strats in bronze because one, your teammates are not going to know what the hell to do, and there's no point in setting up default strats if you personally don't know what the purpose is. So I'm going to explain some common fundamentals when it comes to strats, and let's get into it. So let's take layer, which is one of the most complicated maps because of how new it is, but it's quite simple actually how to, work around this map. So as you can tell, A bomb and B bomb is quite far from one another, but these two connecting sides are actually quite easy to play around with. So a huge no-no is reinforcing off all of this, and then because the main breach is right here. And with every single map, you want to ask yourself, where's the breach? Where are they going to try to open with hard breachers? And if they're not going to bring a hard breacher, how can you extend? Because that's what you have to do on defense. You have to try to contest as much map control as possible and waste as much time for the attackers so they can't set up a comfortable execute on the site and try to get a plant down. So let's say we reinforce these two walls right here, reinforce this wall right here, and then we're going to make a head hole right here. The reason why we're making this head hole is because we're going to play this hallway to contest anybody that's coming in operational. Now, you can get very creative here. If you want, you can get somebody, one of your teammates, to bring a shield and put a shield on this double door just for protection, or you can place it a little farther back and maybe get Jaeger's ADSs or my around right here. So they have to waste utility on your shield to try to take that map control. Do you see basically what I'm doing is you need to try to contest them from taking early map control around site, so it's a lot harder for them to get early map control. Right here, you make head holes as well. You reinforce right here. The reason why you're doing this is because if you reinforce both these walls, then they have only one angle to peek, and that is the double door right here. So the swing potential isn't there. And most of the time, you're going to lose that gunfight. But if you have the head holes here, it's just another angle that they have to worry about getting peeked from the head holes right here, the double door, and sight door under the default cam, and then even the long haul right here tucked. Do you notice how we created 5 different contesting points for the attacker to worry about? This is basically what you want to be creating for strats. So we're contesting operational. We have the head holes. We reinforce those 2 walls. And we're going to make a rotate into this little server area. The reason why you're going to be doing that is because what you're going to be doing is contesting the entire horizontal of the map, which means the same floor, but just a round sight once again. This is great because now they're going to have a very hard time getting into the map. We're going to make a rotate right here. We can reinforce this wall right here. I personally like to make a rotate in here and put feet holes right here. Once again, the reason why I'm doing this is because it's more angles that the attackers have to worry about. But if you're going to do this, you need to have somebody playing in this area. Because if you have all this sight set up, then there's really no point in just giving them that area. Once they just drone down, they're like, okay, they did all this for nothing. Reinforce right here. And the reason why you're making feet holes now is because if they try to get this extra angle on somebody that's in closet, they now have to worry about getting shot from their feet. And as an attacker, you're going to have to prone to get the same angle that the defenders have. Do you see what I'm doing? So we have a choke point over on operational. We have a rotation for the storage area. We have a rotation for server. And you're going to reinforce the wall beside this one just for cover. And what this creates is a long angle for the main breach that people usually jump into. So if they try to swing by, or even if they walk in sight, they have to worry about so many angles. They have to worry about the rotation, close. They have to worry about the long angle. They have to worry about the single wall right here with head holes. So there's just so much that they have to worry about, and they're going to be overwhelmed. That it's going to take them more time to try to drone out and try to use utility to clear you guys. From here, if you guys wanted to, you can make feet holes right here. The reason why you're doing this is if you have somebody playing main and they push back because they're too overwhelmed by the attacker, you can now, it's another angle that they have to worry about. You see what I'm basically explaining is, as defenders, you're creating as much annoyance for the attackers, so it's going to take them more utility, more drones, more time to get inside the map. Of course, there's going to be flaws with every single strat, guys, and this is just a quick little example. But I want you guys to go in a custom game and just go look at a map, like whether it's Coastline, Chalet, whatever your least favorite map is, or your least unknown map, and just sit in a custom game like this for like 10 minutes and try to think of strats. Because you'll become a way better player, you'll rank up faster just by doing stuff like this. This is a strat I made up the first day this map came out. And I win like 90% of my defensive rounds here just based off the strat, just because nobody knows how to attack. Common mistakes players make when they attack or even defend is they're all bunched up in one area. I want you to watch this clip and ask yourself, why did these attackers lose this round? And then I'm going to explain why they did.
Thatcher outside breach.
Op 4 found a bomb. You
Probably
must
was
defend
lit
it.
bottom warehouse. I don't know where Ash killed this guy from.
They're hacking cams. Do I have any cams in sight? Yeah, I have a cam on you, Tubby.
He might have walked in breach. I'm not gonna hold you. I think I heard a hop over.
Yeah, they're in my warehouse now.
There's 2 in IT.
One's pushing my top blue.
Garage down.
Down top garage.
Swinging IT door on your right
Top
side.
blue dead.
Going for the res top warehouse.
That's fine. He's 50-50. Hard right of your wall.
Picking
I
up
believe he
top
was holding
warehouse.
out. Oh, you didn't mean to shoot. That's hard.
Another one just walked in IT.
Probably gonna be 20.
Crouched on left side.
One friendly operator
Oh,
remaining.
behind me, blue.
Still on IT door.
Nice. Left. I'm gonna be off.
Nice job, Liam.
And yes, this surprisingly somehow still happens in champ lobbies. But as you can tell, I'm in a 3v5 scenario on defense, and they have multiple areas of attack, which they open up the main breach in IT, and they have top warehouse. And if you don't know these callouts, that's completely fine. But basically, they have all the prominent walls that you need to be opened to get a successful attacking round. But here's the problem. They are all pushing from one exact area, allowing me as a defender to take my ones. If you don't know what taking a one is, it basically means I can take even one-on-one gunfights where there's no refragability, and that's exactly what they were doing. And if you don't know what refrag means, basically it means if I kill an enemy, his teammate's going to be there to swing and get an instant trade-off. None of these kills that I got were there for that instant trade-off. Okay, so right here, I have a blueprint, which I want to just give some examples of what the attackers should have done in that situation, because there was no reason why they should have lost that round when they had a man count of 5v3 and so much map control. So let's say that Valkyrie is right... This is a cute color. This is Valkyrie right here. Right here, sitting on this server rack. This is warehouse, of course, where my cursor is, and this is IT, which is the main wall that people get. As an attacker, here's what they did. They opened up this main breach right here. They took warehouse control very early on, and they had so much control. Here's what they should have done. They shouldn't have had 5 people in warehouse, because there's only a limited amount of angles people can watch before they TK each other or just get in the way. So instead, they should have had one person stay in IT. And if you don't know what IT is, it's this box right here that people always open. Have one body right here. So you would have one person sitting in IT. You would have a second person, maybe top rafters slash like getting close for the head holes to watch any angles from anybody swinging. And then the third person would be the hard breach, which was getting picked up at some point around here, trying to open up this quad wall. The other two can do a unlimited amount of things. For example, this entire area right here was not taken care of. This meeting control, which was right here in meeting hall, was not, there was no presence as an attacker. So what they should have done is 4 and 5, let's say, for the operators, because 1, 2, 3 is right here in warehouse. 4 and 5 should have went ahead and taken meeting. Hopefully one of them would have hard breach device. One of them will just, let's say 4, would just hold the hallway to make sure nobody comes back, flanks, etc. And 5, which hopefully has a hard breach, or if it's the ace that was getting warehouse, he could open up this quad wall and then rotate it all the way around with this person. And 4 or 5, they could have just taken the breach and been with 1 and 2. So they open this breach right here, and then they have so much map control once again. The Valkyrie is going to be stuck on this server pillar, which is me. And that's why, when I was sitting there defending, I was constantly looking for this area for meeting, because I was like, what the heck is happening? Why is nobody, going to pinch me? Like I need to try to take ones. So basically take this map control and just hold an angle until you can find the Valkyrie and pick Valkyrie off. And then it's a 5v2. A 5v2 is very, very winnable. Like, there should be no reason why you're losing 5v2s when you have all this map control. Trust me, it's possible, but it's very, very rare. But do you see what I mean? Map control is so important, especially surrounding areas. I'm not saying go solo push somewhere else, but you shouldn't be 5-stacking 1 or 2 general areas which already have map control and there's limited amount of angles. Do you see if 4 and 5 is here? It's just going to be like a bunch of sardines just wrapped up. Like, this is a TK waiting to happen if everybody is in this warehouse area. There's too many angles that you just can't, you don't have opportunity to watch because there's too many people here. You know when they say that sometimes there can be too many chefs in a kitchen? It's the same exact concept with this. If you even wanted to, you could have had 4 and 5 maybe instead of going this side, but this side is very prominent. They could have even went blue, because now at least the people that's in this site, there's nowhere they can feel, you know, comfortable watching. And all the utility that attackers have, like flash grenades, you know, smokes, etc. The people that's right here in this blue hall, they could have just smoked off the feet holes that's right here, and then they can push up on the door frame, and then they would have another cutoff watching into this site. And then like the Tubby, Tubby, whatever the hell his name is, he is not going to be able to move. He is going to be stuck holding awkward gunfights. Sure, you're going to have an attacker right here around the bomb chassis, but the people that have the head hole on warehouse, they have a direct angle on them. So even though me, Valkyrie, is going to be on the server, I'm going to be forced to try to take the gunfights into IT. And it's going to be hard to for me to take that gunfight because there's so many angles, because there's, you know, IT, and then there's warehouse head holes. So they should get a refrag, and then at least then it would be a 4v2. Because even if I kill one, it is not worth it because there's still 4 other people up. So my other teammates are basically screwed, and once I get killed, the person that's IT can feel a lot more comfortable, push up, take this map control, and then basically pinch the guy that was in this site. And they don't even need to get a plan at that point because they have so much map control. This game is 100% like chess, guys. So when you attack, don't just walk in a building and do nothing and try to rush. Use your drones, use your utility, and use your brain. Because if you're not trying to think about how like attacking strategies, then you're missing out and you're not going to survive higher ranks. Even if somebody went below where I was and they were like Buck or Ash or something and just made vertical on this soft floor, they could have just cut off all my line of sight and forced me to either drop the hatch and die, or hopefully try to go for that kill and probably lose all my HP, or they would have gotten an easy frag and all of this area is now watched by an attacker. There's limitless amount of things that you can do in Siege. So stop doing these BS default takes that literally end in you losing 90% of your attacking rounds because you suck on attack. Another common mistake is the way you make rotates and head holes. So let me also explain that. Now this rotate hole right here, I see a lot of people doing, and this is very, very wrong. See this rotate, this is a way better alternative. Now the reason why this is a better alternative is because as a defender, you now have all the possibilities of one, having a little bit of protection, and you're able to make any punch holes and whatnot. Another reason is because if the attackers somehow take sight and they just walk into sight, they're gonna have to get so deep that they're gonna have to actually have a vault prompt and keep their gun down for a quick second, or they're just leaving themselves at a disadvantage having to make that audio. So that's why it rotates like this, especially on sites like, you know, billiards. You're going to want to make it vaultable. Now let me show you an example of where you're not going to want to make it vaultable. Head over on hookah once again. This is a default rotate, and the reason why you're not making this vaultable is because if you make it vaultable, it's going to be damn near impossible to try to get back into sight from the staircase. And even if the attackers come up onto here and they get into hookah, you as a defender is now able to go up CV, aka cool vibes, and you have a limited amount of angles. So it's kind of like a retake angle as well, because a lot of times people do waltz into hookah on this L couch and they try to plant. So you need to have this angle as a defender. When making rotates in between sites, most of the time, keep in mind most of the time, you need to be aware of what angles there are and what would be better, vaultable or crouchable. In this instance on kitchen, rotate walkable / crouchable rotate is 20 times better than a vaultable, because the vaultable one is going to make so much noise for the attackers that they're going to have so much intel if you rotate in between sites, and then you're not going to be able to rotate in between sites retaking the map unless you want to give them audio, and then you're only going to have to be able to push through this one single door, and then they will have a limited amount of angles that they need to watch, which makes it easier for you to die. So on this side, you're going to want to make it crouchable basically, because it's just a lot better, and then you can hold the bomb angle, and then you can rotate in between sites, and it's just much easier. Another example of rotate holes is right here on this kegs on coastline when you're holding downstairs kitchen. As you can tell, if you make a rotate here, and by the way, this is very common for extension into main lobby, you now have a vault prompt. going back to what I was saying when at hookah, if I make this rotatable, like runnable or crouchable, then they can just walk into sight nice and quiet. So this is a huge no-no. You're only going to want to make it vaultable, because then even as a defender, you can now have audio if they jump in the sight, and you'll know. Now I made these a little too big, so you're actually able to completely prone through it, but a lot of people leave this quad wall while defending kitchen / service soft, and they don't do anything with these blue bar holes. The reason why you're going to want to make a hole like this, for example, is because now as a defender, you can control more of the map. You can extend out into main lobby, and the person that's playing main lobby, they're now able to get any lines of sight from the person walking into blue bar. Now, as an attacker, you're going to be in a tough scenario, because one, you're going to have to make sure you're clearing and keeping your gun up for all these blue bar angles after you drone and whatnot. And now you have another angle you have to worry about. It just creates so much pressure on the attacker to actually take this map control. So it's going to be super hard for them to feel like they're protected. And the only way they're going to feel protected is by being in this position right here. Of course, now they can't play behind this blue bar comfortably. They can't play tucked right here for anybody on server. Sunrise. And they're just kind of screwed, because now they're going to have to sit here proning, worrying about this angle if they really want to try to fight it. Of course, you're going to want to make it lower, not expose most of the body, because now somebody can crouch. I just made it a little bit too high. Feet holes are essential in Rainbow Six Siege, and there's a huge difference between feet holes and head holes. For example, a lot of people either make head holes or feet holes on this, Pebbles Hall. Now, there's pluses and negatives to both. One, as an attacker, you have all the angles into sight, and that cuts off anybody rotating or trying to, retake sight from this single door right here. So you have the advantage as the attacker taking that gunfight. So as an defender, instead, what you're going to want to do is make feet holes for any of the attackers late round trying to take map control, and then you can, shoot their feet if they're walking Pebbles Hall. But a plus with these head holes right here is if you're in courtyard as a defender and you're retaking the map because they have, started executing into sight, you can now kill anybody that's jumping into the main kitchen window. So if they try to plant, you can have an angle on them, you can kill them, etc. So be wary of how you're making head holes or feet holes, because there's a huge difference and they serve two different purposes, but they're highly effective in both situations. Now, another example of feet holes is right here on this toilet's quad wall. A lot of people will make like a random maybe head hole or whatnot, and that's cool if you have a specific strat. The only head hole I would personally make is right here on this far toilets, and that's only because this allows me to actually get an angle to swing if they're trying to, take deep, and then, they're kind of stuck at a disadvantage being in the corner on this window because they take in so deep that there's so many angles that's going to overwhelm them. Another prominent feet hole would be right here. And the reason why you're doing that is because now if they try to walk in, they have another angle that they need to worry about. But this is only good if you have somebody playing main lobby, because they're now able to, peek them. If they try to walk in, you can shoot their feet. Of course, this is very complex stuff. So you're just going to want to use your brain when playing most of these maps and ask yourself what would be the most beneficial for these maps. Say you're playing hookah, a lot of people ask yourself right now, would you make a head hole on this wall or a feet hole? Or would you just leave it soft? Let me know it in the comments right now. If you said head holes, you are correct. The reason why you're making head holes right here is because you're now able to extend out and hold angles from all sorts of different situations. For example, on this pink double, on this 90 hallway, of course, somebody's on the roof, they might get an angle, but this is all situational. And just if you're rotating in between sites, as an attacker, you're going to be so overwhelmed with the amount of angles that the defenders have that you're going to have to check so many different things. As you can tell, as an attacker, I'm going to have to worry about someone that's on the hookah bomb, or if somebody's on this head hole right here, or another head hole for 90, and then vase, left side vase, L couch, cool vibes rotate, tuck left, etc. As you can tell, the main purpose of this is to overwhelm the attackers with angles. This is the whole point of Siege, and this is why site setup is so freaking important. Another example of prominent feet holes would be on downstairs bakery. When you're holding this, Ask yourself, would a head hole or foot hole right here be better or worse? Because this wall will be reinforced. Well, definitely a feet hole. Because now if the attacker walks in, they can now ADS and contest anybody that's trying to contest prep and trying to help out anybody that's playing bakery. So now it's going to be completely hard for the person that's in prep to hold this and be safe. Especially anybody that's on the window or even tucked on this black box, there's now an angle. This is why you make a feet hole here. Because now, if you make a feet hole without the head hole and an attacker walks in, the only form of protection is going to be right here on this hard reinforced wall, which makes it 10 times easier for the defenders to swing and already know that he's going to be in this general area. On this red hallway, it's very common for players to play coat check. Of course, you're going to make a head hole right here, reinforce the right side. I'm just showing this for an example. If you do a feet hole, you don't have this angle in prep. But if you do a head angle, you have the angle for prep and it allows you to extend out. You also have an angle for if they walk into when they open up this breach. But if you made it a feet hole, you would only be able to see this stove. You see what I mean? The whole purpose of feet holes and head holes. For example, right here is another good example. You're going to want to make feet holes here because as an attacker, you're going to have to literally prone to see if you can kill anybody. And then if you're going to run in, you have a direct counter angle for K1 and K2. And it's going to be so hard for you to jump over to this, little tucked area because K1 and K2 has an angle because of the feet holes. Now, see this cart wall right here? I see a lot of people either making head holes or feet holes. And ask yourself, I think this is one of the walls where you can do either or and it still be effective. Personally, I like to do head holes, but once again, if your teammates aren't watching new balcony or they're not holding anything prominent for heaven or even under, then it's going to be really hard for the person that's playing bitch corner to be safe. Now, the reason why I like to do the head holes here is because when I'm over here playing piano in this bitch corner area, I can now have control over ticket, the window, and then if they try to walk into new, it's another angle they have to worry about. Now, you could make the argument that you can prone and get that same direct angle, but then once again, they're going to hear proning and it's just awkward having to do this. And in my opinion, I just prefer the head angles, but that's just me. Once again, feet holes can be very effective here, but I also find that if anybody drops skylight or if they try to go into new bulk window, I would love to have that angle, from couches, not have just feet angles. So there's purposes of both, and whatever you're into, that's fine. But personally, I just like head angles. So I hope so far you kind of understand why you do head angles. Head angles are for more direct lines of sight that is just going to help you get kills and extend out the map. For example, on this cart wall, if I do head angles here, I have a direct line of sight into new balcony, and then I have a direct line of sight if they drop skylight or if they go new bulk, and vice versa. But if I make feet holes, that is for late takes. For example, if the attacker tries to walk into new balcony and he crouches in or he just walks in, I'm going to see his feet, and that's to overwhelm the attacker. It's not more or less to help a strat. It's more to just concern the attacker and make them feel so overwhelmed with what they're pushing that they're going to question even if they want to do that because of the lines of sight. And another example is, once again, the feet holes on reading 90. This is a very common strat as well. If I make head holes here and I make head holes in this wall right here in the reading, then I have direct line of sight if they get in the sight and they try to take late. I also have a line of sight in the pillar. Now, of course, that works the other way around. As an attacker, I now have line of sight in the sight, but that's going to overwhelm me as an attacker because I have no idea where anybody is or if they could be swinging. So it's another angle that I'm going to have to worry about. But if I have feet holes, then that kind of limits the amount of angles the attacker's going to have. And yeah. So just be aware of how you hold angles and how you place rotates and head holes and feet holes. Now, if you guys enjoyed this video, make sure that you guys like, sub, and comment. And thank you so much for making it to the very end. I hope you found some help in any type of way from this video. Besides that, guys, thank you so much for watching and have a fantastic day.